So, I kind of wanted to talk for a little bit. Normally when I do a story time, I write out a script, I prepare it well in advance, and I record it and put it together, yada yada, but I'm just kind of in a spot right now where I can't be bothered. Like, I can't. I'm gonna tell y'all the story time of how I almost quit Hypixel. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with my demotion from the staff team. Shocking, I know. I am not the bitter Betty that everybody likes to assume I am whenever I even think even the slightest negative of thoughts about the staff team. Some of y'all may have seen last night, I posted a tweet. It was way past my bedtime because I'm an old lady. I need to get my rest early. So I was up way later than I should have been. It says, the more Hypixel grows, the worse it gets in terms of community. There's always been shitty people, but that fraction of the player base grows more prevalent every day. It's a bit depressing to see the server become such a toxic and hateful environment. It used to be so fun. I was in a bit of a mood last night, clearly. Here's the thing, I have been on Hypixel for close to 8 years and was part of the staff team for almost 3. And I am well aware, I have been around long enough to know, I'm in the minority of the player base when it comes to age. Because the average player age is around, I would guess, maybe like 13 to 15 years old. And I'm going to be 28 in less than 2 months. However, I don't believe that means Minecraft is, nor should solely be enjoyed by those of the underage persuasion. Because as a grown blob resembling the shape of a functional member of society, I can still enjoy a chill game. People tend to have an issue with people of certain ages playing certain games, which I don't quite understand. Everyone plays different ways. You can be a very competitive player, or you can like more chill, relaxing games and have a comfort game. It's never really been specifically geared towards children. Like, yeah, a lot of children do happen to enjoy it, and some content creators may kind of use that to get more views and do certain things that will appease to a younger fan base. But just because this game is available for kids does not mean that, it should only be played by kids. And for some reason, Minecraft has become known as like LOL Lego block game for children. I really kind of don't know how that happened because for me, like I said, I view Minecraft in the same vein as games like Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, both very chill, calm games that children can play and enjoy, but also adults can play and enjoy. It's enjoyable for people of all ages. I find it a bit funny whenever someone's like, oh, adult playing Minecraft, what are you doing? Get a life, go outside, touch grass. Like, who do you think runs the server and literally develops this thing? This isn't no Lord of the Flies things where it's run by children. It's run by like a little island of misfits. That is not at all how this works. Because of the player base being on the younger side, many of them tend to get a little, well, they're little shits. Let's just put it bluntly. Let's call a spade a spade. A lot of the players can just be assholes. This isn't something where I'm trying to be like all holier than thou. I was also an absolute ass at the age of 13 and feeling like a keyboard warrior, acting all edgy and tough behind a screen. So I get it. I have been there. I understand that mentality because, like, that's not very much an uncommon thing for that particular age group. And I feel like, as you get older, you get more mature and grow into an actual adult, you learn to kind of rein it in at least a bit, or at the very least can kind of acknowledge and own that I'm having a shitty day, so I'm gonna make others have a shitty day too. Like, at least acknowledge that and own it. Whereas for the average age group of a Hypixel, it tends to be more often than not where, from their perspective, it's like they're going to battle with anyone they come across and doing all sorts of mental gymnastics, trying to justify why this person deserves their wrath. From what I've seen on Hypixel, unfortunately, a lot of people don't tend to settle for more basic insults. Like, they actually try to make a good solid effort to hit below the belt, just for the simplest of interactions. For example, yesterday, the scenario that prompted this specific tweet in the first place, I was on the forums, which, that was my first mistake, really, if I'm being entirely honest. Never go on the Hypixel forums. It's not a great place to be. I come across this thread on the forums, completely unoriginal. This whole rage-filled rant about how, Watchdog is dumb, staff are awful, yada yada, all sorts of bad and awful things, and yet they still continue to play the server and pay for MVP++ and things like that. That's usually how it goes. No matter how much someone claims to hate the server and everything about it, they'll still be here. They'll still hang out and play and give them their money. It's the sort of thread where they're trying to make claims that, Watchdog only false bans legit players. Thousands every day, but it never bans the most blatant of hackers. So basically saying that Watchdog's sole purpose that the admins are aware of and encourage is to just ban legit players. Which, I will never say Watchdog is fantastic by any means, but obviously that's a bit, that takes quite a bit of mental gymnastics to understand and reach that conclusion. They could have been baiting, or they could have just actually trying to get everyone to agree with them that everything is awful and the server sucks and staff are trying to ban legit players. Whatever conspiracy the tinfoil hat wearers can come up with, really. I decide to comment, which, again, first mistake was going on the forums. Second mistake was choosing to reply to a thread of this nature in the first place. I post a very simple response saying, that's not right. A lot of this is inaccurate. And of course, they immediately proceed to go beyond name calling, saying, I'm an old person playing a kid's game, get a life, etc., using the F slur, not the F word, not fuck, the F slur. Just out and proud with it. Using autism as an insult, mocking the sexual harassment that I dealt with from a previous Hypixel staff manager, because for some reason they just really wanted to make it personal and attempt to hurt me in a very specific way, just because I disagreed with what they had to say. Whenever things like that happen, it does get kind of upsetting, but really not for the reasons I think they intend. I've been around since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. I've been on the internet for a long time. I've dealt with a lot in this hellspace, and it's a little sad to say that at this point I've kind of been desensitized to it. But the reason it sucks so much, for me at least, is because I pity people like that. Because I understand what it's like in your formative years when everything is a big deal, always. Like the world is against you and you're getting picked on, and so you want to take those negative feelings out on someone you perceive as an even easier target. Like they're seeking attention they believe they deserve, that they for some reason aren't getting in their personal life. And I feel for them. Honestly and truly, I do. I feel bad. Like something I have learned to live by a very long time ago. Happy people don't treat others like shit. Being this type of person displaying such toxic and hateful behavior, I'm sure you're dealing with so much. And it's definitely not uncommon to see these sorts of folks, even in my comment section on my videos. It's just an unfortunate constant of the internet. But I genuinely hope it gets better and you resolve whatever insecurities cause you to be so hostile and lash out to a random person on the internet and wanting to hurt someone in such a personal way who is a complete stranger and whose most egregious offense against you was disagreeing with your opinion. So while I understand having been in that mindset myself, as I mentioned in the tweet Birdland on Twitter, this sort of thing has become much more prevalent in Hypixel. I'm not saying these people are even the majority of the player base. Most folks, at least from my experience, do seem to be decent individuals, or at the very least, don't go out of their way to be an absolute stain on the community. Sadly, it has become a more common occurrence, especially as the server continues to grow. That fraction doesn't change overall, but if you have, say, 10% of the player base that's toxic and hateful and awful, with a smaller community, obviously that's fewer people. But when you have millions and millions of players on the server, as Hypixel does, that 10%, it's still quite a lot of people. As the player base increases, so does the overall amount of shitty people who are very outspoken and tend to steamroll just anyone they come across, however they see fit. Like I said, it's not something that affects me personally in the way they intend. Like, they can call me all the names they want. I'm not gonna be sitting here behind my screen in tears or staying up at night like, oh boo-hoo, this person I've never met before called me a name. I've been on the internet for a long time. Genuinely, I don't give a shit. The most negative thing I feel is pity for these people and whatever insecurities they're dealing with that causes them to lash out and get so hostile at random strangers on the internet for the simplest of interactions. And also, I understand that's just kind of how the internet is. There's always going to be terrible people here, not just on Hypixel, but in all corners of the internet, really. Like, whatever negative things they say about me, it is far more a reflection on them than it is about me. And so, whatever names they choose to call me, it doesn't specifically bother me. What nearly caused me to reach my breaking point with Hypixel, of course, y'all know, it started on the forums. It's always the goddamn forums. It was another person whining like a cranky child, throwing a tantrum, and trying to make some outlandish claims without any sort of proof or evidence, experience. I don't even remember what it was. It was something probably like Watchdog or Staff or something. And they were just raging about whatever they felt like raging about that day. So then I come in again with my very poor decision making, and I feebly attempt to get everyone to take a fucking chill pill, and immediately the vile garbage comes spewing out, along with something I had never really seen before. Now, I have been mocked or insulted for my age, my gender, my history on the server, my health issues, my boyfriend, my appearance, and all other aspects of my personal life. Just, y'all need to get some more original material, because literally I have heard it all 10 times over by now. Any insult someone can bestow upon me, I've already heard it multiple times over. There is nothing original anyone can tell me by now after all this time I've spent not just on Hypixel, but, you know, also being on the internet for as long as I have. This particular individual was attempting to berate me for having a Minecraft channel and posting content that isn't Minecraft, which had me confused because A, my channel isn't a Minecraft channel. I mean, I do post Minecraft content, but obviously it's not a Minecraft channel, which is why I post other content in games. I first made my channel in January 2014, and within the first few months, sure, I thought maybe I wanted to be exclusively a Minecraft channel, but I gave up on that very quickly and wanted no part of like confining myself to one specific game. More power to whoever does that, but I quickly realized it was not for me, and thus I just posted a whole bunch of games and just really whatever I kind of felt like. You know, my channel, my rules. That's kind of how I felt in the approach I took to it. And I attempted to say, no, that's incorrect. My channel is not solely dedicated to Minecraft, which is exactly why I do post other content, but they insisted, no, your channel is clearly Minecraft. Your name is Ali MC. Of course it's Minecraft, you fucking idiot. Now, I have explained more times than I care to count how I got my username, Ali MCC, Ali McC, however you want to say it, I really don't care. I have explained numerous times that my username, it is part of my real name. I have been using it since before Minecraft even existed. So it has no association with this game whatsoever. But even these days, I'll still get questions about, what does the second C in your username stand for? Because of course, people assume it's related to Minecraft. Like I said, I don't mind people asking questions if they're like legitimately curious and they're just new to the community. That is perfectly acceptable. But to be told so aggressively, with such confidence this person had, that it was actually I who is wrong about my own channel and content, and to be spoken to so viciously based solely on this person's own misguided beliefs and assumptions about myself and just their attitude. I took a step back and I almost had an out-of-body experience. And I thought to myself, what the fuck am I doing here in a community that's so commonly negative in the worst ways? Why am I here spending any sort of time when there's people like this who treat others in the worst ways and so horribly for the most minor of things? And the thing is, I am well aware this is not exclusive to Hypixel. Across every corner of the internet, there have been communities that are just as bad, if not even worse. But this was the first time I myself have ever been a part of something like this. And with the average age of the player base being what it is, the problem is it's never really gonna go away, which I kind of realized in that moment. Because even if these kids grow out of their atrocious behavior, as most eventually do, there will always be more to take their place. And it just continues the cycle of toxicity. And I was thinking to myself, in that moment, despite the years of time and effort put into the server, both on the staff team and as a normal player, because the sunk cost fallacy is real, I thought, do I really want to still be a part of this? And the answer was no. I had made so many friends here, so many wonderful memories. There's just no ignoring the horrible side, especially as it becomes more and more of a constant issue. I honestly considered quitting Hypixel entirely, just dropping everything and leaving. But the only reason I've stuck around and continue to inhabit this hellish abyss known as the Hypixel network is entirely and solely because of my audience. You lovely people who have been around and supported my channel either for years or days, whether you're just a casual viewer stopping by occasionally, or you're my most dedicated subscriber consuming every ounce of content that I put out. I appreciate every single person who supports me and my content in whatever way they choose. While my channel may not be exclusively Minecraft content, I am well aware that is where most of my audience comes from. I don't ever want to disappoint my viewers, and to let so many people down, for me, would be worse than continuing to stay here. That is why I am now less active than I have been in previous years. I go on the forums occasionally, which I shouldn't, because more often than not, it just ends up being full of regrets and awfulness, but for the most part, my activity on the server has been contained to anything I make for my channel or while I'm streaming, and while I may not be as active as I used to be, I'm still here. And I haven't quit. And I don't want to put the blame for this like on the staff team or anyone, or make it seem like Hypixel is entirely awful. There are still some good aspects to the server and quite a few wonderful people who help motivate me in difficult times, but I meant what I said in my tweet, and I feel like that's just how it's going to be. And there's nothing anyone can do to stop it, and we just have to either leave or build a bridge and get over it. Maybe one day I will fully quit for good when I have well and truly had enough, but sadly that day has not come yet, and y'all are stuck with me for right now. I'm so sorry. I kind of thought about making a video to talk about that for quite a while, and I thought about I could sit down and write a script about it, or I can just be like, you know what, let's do it live. We'll be like, who is that fucko? Bill O'Reilly, who said that live on the air. We'll do it live. Fuck, we'll do it live.